Felix here, and welcome to this pre-morning live stream on a day where everything is wonderful, isn't it? Especially for Tesla investors. SoFi also doing very, very nicely there yesterday, so super happy to see that. But the good news is only just getting started, and I want you to understand all the facts, all the figures, all the data, so you can make better decisions, have more beautiful winning days like this here, and let's jump into it, shall we? So here we are. That's actually the wrong thing, isn't it? But let me show you the pre-market here briefly. It looks pretty decent after a day like yesterday. Pretty green, right? Tesla, mild pullback here, 1%. Nothing really to write home about. But there is a lot more good news coming up. And I want you to really understand that after you've smashed the like button. Good morning, everyone. So hedge funds. It's a funny story about hedge funds. We're going to get to that in a moment. Trousers down. But they're buying like mad. They're buying more stocks than they have for all year, really, which is good, right? We want them to buy, so it'll pump the market up some more. But they're getting to a point where they're basically now fully leveraged. They're basically at sort of 100%, actually 200% of where they typically are with their leverage. And that means they might be done buying. So is that therefore a bad thing? Well, no, not quite, because we also have the CTAs, the algo funds, the computers, if you wish, and they have added about $300 billion of stocks since early August. Remember that Japan 5% down drop thing? We also had corporates, companies by strong buyers up to the blackout period, says UBS. So a lot of buying happening there. But there is more, right? Active equity managers, so that's stock funds basically. Actively managed stock funds are underweight. Why? September is usually a bad month. October before elections is usually very dicey, and they were being cautious. And they've had a pretty good year. They didn't want to risk it, so therefore they are cautious. But that means they could come back. Retail, that's you and me, have been net sellers. They've been selling stocks since July. So we have a potential to come back and do a heck of a lot more, right? And there's something called risk control funds. They're just another type of fund, essentially. They will also buy as long as volatility remains relatively low, which it is relatively low still. So good morning, Richard. A lot of reasons, a lot of people who could be buying. Also, call options, especially people are really bullish on a stock, they'll buy a call option, right? On tech stocks right now, where are we? This is a really confusing chart, isn't it? Yeah, we're here. This is right now. All the other colorful lines are all the previous months, the last 12 months. So very, very low levels of people buying call options too, which again means people are not expecting, or people don't think we are in a rally. They're cautious. They're very, very cautious. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So yeah, retail will come back and buy the highs here probably. Anyway, we'll make some money off it. But this is about to come back. And this is a beautiful chart. We is here. I should pick a different color, shouldn't I? So you could actually see it. Can I? Am I allowed? Microsoft? Microsoft says, no, you've insulted the chief, the chosen one. Here we are. That's where we are right now. And buybacks come in swings and roundabouts. And why do they go high and low? Because you get these blackout periods where we are in earnings seasons and they're not allowed to buy their own stocks. And at the moment, we're in the middle of that blackout season. That is going to come back by early November, massively. Look at that. Massive, massive upside in terms of buying. So expect about, this is about what, 55 billion? Just from buybacks there at the beginning of that session. And then there is plenty more where that came from. So expect huge buys towards the end of the year from stocks doing buybacks. Have you watched the masterclass? Do you know that you can actually, right now, today, you can learn the exact same patterns that the most successful traders in the world look at. And you might be thinking, yeah, I don't really believe it. But you see how stocks move in a pattern? They go sideways, they break out, they go sideways, they get tired, and they collapse, and then they go sideways, and guess what? They're going to break out again. Certainly in the case of PayPal, they've already broken out. And it's kind of what makes the difference between financial freedom and not having it. I've looked at charts like this for literally thousands of hours, analyzing those breakouts, spotting those patterns, learning those patterns from investment bankers, from hedge fund managers, and it's allowed me to spot a heck of a lot of these wonderful winners, right? And the vast majority of these breakouts are predictable. Yeah, they are predictable and they're repeatable. So I get very excited about this because I look at charts and I see massive opportunity. Most people don't understand it, and it's a scandal. It should be taught in school. So there is a free masterclass that will absolutely change the way you look at the stock market. And it's not some get-rich-quick scheme or something else. It's about actually mastering what charts tell you, understanding what that breakout pattern is, and it'll help you to generate real wealth. It really will. You got to practice it and you got to learn it. But if you want to learn it, you want that exact blueprint, then what do? You watch the masterclass. The link is down below. But most of you won't, because you won't take action. And even if you take action, well, the knowledge is very useful, but you actually got to implement it. You actually got to execute it. It's the implementation that's the real power. So I'm going to show you how to do that step by step in that masterclass. Real stuff, no fluff, no, the real thing. So watch it, my friend. After this live stream, of course, you wouldn't want to miss a minute of it, would you? But yeah, I think it's going to really, really change the way you make money. And I think it's going to really, really help you make a lot more money like it has for us here on PayPal or on FOA. I'm still in that trade, or on Philip Morris. I'm in on that trade, or on Rail. FelixPrehn.org/get free. Why do we do this? To make 1 million people financially free, right? Now, that is a chart I didn't want in here, so we're going to skip past it. But there is more good news. There is more good news. Not just you being able to potentially make a heck of a lot more money, and I think you can. And you might think, oh, I've tried everything. No, you haven't. You haven't. No one's ever tried everything. So, yeah. Anyway, enough on that front. The seasonal buyer. So we are right now here, late October. Typically from there to the end of the year, we go up, what, another 5%? Something like that, right? Philip, you're quite right. Watch the masterclass, 30 minutes for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal, isn't it? But most people don't do it. Most people, it's weird, really. It's very, very weird. Probably 0.1% of people who watch this video are going to actually watch the masterclass. It's extraordinary how people are somehow in a frame of mind where they just don't think change is possible. And I think that's where most of us are. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's just fear of actually change. Change is scary. I get that. But it's also freaking wonderful. I mean, you want to have a nice life, don't you? What did I do today? I got up, I went for a hike, I came home, I had lunch, it was served to me. I played with my cats. I went for tennis, played tennis. I had a pizza with a friend. And I came back and I thought I'd look at the market with you. And then I might do a spot of trading. That's my day, really. Oh, and I checked on a renovation project I've got. Popped in there for a few minutes, had a chat with a lovely contractor. That's it. It's been a very nice day. Now, I said the seasonality is coming, and it's big and beautiful and bouncy. Now, there are two types of years. There are presidential election years, and we're in one of those. If you hadn't noticed, I hadn't noticed. So this is where we are right now, versus the non-presidential years, which are basically they rally a little earlier. So they kind of take off from October. This is non-presidential, but in presidential years, we take off a little later from November onwards. Why? It makes sense. You got the election out of the way. The uncertainty is gone. So post-election, I think we're going to look pretty good. Scott says, is that politics? Once your mind and beliefs are established, it's really hard to change. It's true. And Hayden, it's also true. People want things handed to them. I hand you knowledge. I hand you skill. I hand you stuff you can really implement. If you do implement it, it'll actually change your life, like literally change your life. I know what people really want is for me to say, buy this. But A, I wouldn't really be giving you a service, because if one day I don't do this anymore, then you'd be on your own and you'd be screwed. If I lose my marbles tomorrow, you'd also be screwed, and you wouldn't really learn anything. Your children would still not know how to manage their money. They wouldn't really have financial freedom. If you made a lot of money, they'd lose it all because they wouldn't know what to do with it. So it's really the skill, the knowledge, and the practice that's what makes people great. And you got to practice, right? You got to practice. I read somewhere this morning, you know, Michael Jordan, you know how many practice shots he took during his 15-year career? 4.5 million. I think he made 24,000 shots on the court as a player, and he made 4 million practice shots, like on his own every single day. That's how you get great, right? But who wants to do that? That's that question, isn't it? Kirill, are caps banned? Yeah, there they are, because it reduces spam a lot. That's why we do it. You get someone shouting something about, you know, Palestine, or, you know, that kind of thing. It's usually in caps, so we eliminate those people with a little friendly bot that we have there. There is more. There is more good news, my friends. It's like Christmas, isn't it, really? Christmas is all around us. It's everywhere I go. I actually saw my first Christmas tree in Manila a few days ago. There will be short squeezes, and they will drive the market up even more. This red line is, I should find a red pen. This red line is the Goldman Sachs most shorted index. And, well, they kind of got hit. Why did they get hit? Well, what's at the top of the most shorted list of hedge funds? It might not have something to do with Tesla, would it? I mean, that would be crazy, because Tesla went up 22% yesterday. We're seeing some, how much are we up on Tesla since yesterday? 70% or something? Something like that. Well, let me show you something funny. Guess the most shorted stock by hedge funds? Number one, yeah, it's Tesla. Isn't that lovely? So, I think there's a pretty good chance. Well, it's part of the reason perhaps why we blew up quite as much yesterday. But yeah, there'll still be some people in that, I imagine. So I think we have a little bit more to go. So these idiots shorted Tesla because they believe they're analysts, who are even greater muppets than the people actually managing the money, right? Yeah, there we are. Christian, you want less introduction in the masterclass? That's a fair comment, fair suggestion. I might work on rejigging it. DOGZ, you mentioned that a few times now. Now you've got me curious. DOGZ, Dogness International Corporation. That's a thing? Yeah, that also blew up. It's been blowing up for a while. What do they do? Consumer non-durables. Honestly, first time I've ever heard of this company. Know absolutely nothing about it. Is it diagnostics or something? I don't know. No idea what they do. Nice little rally. Nice little breakout here. That was a good one. That was a classic one. That was sort of like where I would have bought had I known about the stock. And then we get these sort of later bounces here. That was a good one here. Look at that volume there. That's pretty sweet. Yesterday, weirdly, very little volume, which means I'd be a little cautious on it. Caps are considered shouting. Yeah, I think that's the idea. So there we are. Watch the masterclass, my friends. You want me to look at some individual stocks? I'm super happy to do that, but let's have a quick glance at the Doomberg headlines for fun, although it's becoming more politics and less stock market, weirdly. It's really, I mean, I stopped reading anything related to politics from Bloomberg because it's just It's just we hate Trump propaganda, which is weird. It's not really what you come here for, is it? You just want like balanced views, but that doesn't seem to exist anymore. You see, why do some black voters support Trump? It's complicated, all that stuff. Who cares? Anything useful in here? Oh yeah. This deal fell apart, right? The Capri deal. Do you see that? That's basically luxury brands. Is that it? That's not so bad, but look at the volume there. The volume is insane. I thought that it tanked a bit. Oh yeah. Pre-market is down 47%. I just can't see it because it's off the chart. Yeah, it's down 47%. Apparently that takeover not happening. So that's a bit of a bitch, isn't it? JP, they're shorting oil stocks. Well, considering there's been a war in the Middle East now for some time, oil hasn't gone up that much. I think the theory is slowing economic growth, and the US has got plenty of oil. OPEC could pump a lot more. So short of like a massive, Iran striking Saudi or something like that, which would be a bad idea, and I don't think they're going to do it. Short of that, I think there is a reasonable expectation that US oil is not gonna rally. And look, they've been right? They made a lot of money on this. I mean, US oil was at 83, it's now at 71. So I think they made quite a lot of money on that. Apple, AAPL, let me have a look here. Actually, first thing, maybe I show you the simplified chart. Sometimes that's easier to sort of see what's going on here. Apple doing quite nicely. I mean, okay, overall it's 23% up since beginning of 2022. Trading it would have given you 49%. Yeah, trading works. We're just slightly off that high here at 236. So we're kind of, I would call this an exhaustion pattern. We're just trying to find our feet. And so right now, not a lot happening over there. If you click on a little bit more the advanced chart here, we see the resistance is at 235. This is all in Trade Vision, by the way. Links down below. Get yourself a week's trial to it. Play around with it. I think it'll make you. I think it's incredibly useful. I wouldn't get through the day without it, quite frankly. So we've got some resistance points here, don't we? We have that whole section here. And also that previous high there. May I? Apparently not that one there. And then these are just slightly below it. So that whole zone is sort of resistance. Market positioning is now at 235. The market maker sell. So hard to break through that. Therefore, we haven't. So we're kind of stuck in this sideways action. Philip says PayPal. Apple is a big buybacker, if that's a word. Yes, it's true. It's a good stock. It's a good company. I'm just telling you what the chart's saying. PayPal is looking good this morning at $82 here, which is nice. Resistance is now at 85, so there's a fair room to move up here. Still this was the breakout. This was the breakout. And again, please learn how to spot these breakouts because it's bloody obvious once you know it. And what do you got to do for that? You got to go to felixprehn.org/get free and watch the masterclass for half an hour. And then we got that lovely little rally up and now we're going sideways. So what will we do? Well, you could have taken some profits here. You could also just watch, are we going to break out of this sideways action down? If you are as bullish on me on this, then perhaps you're looking forward to the earnings and you think it's going to be a catapult from there. Mark says Netflix has an IV of 10. Does it? It's very low. Yeah, so it means options are very cheap. So if you want to buy call options, then they would be very cheap. If I put options, they'd equally be cheap. Now, generally speaking, this looks like a pretty decent uptrend. We had that lovely breakout there. You're just, yeah, so options are very cheap. That's all I'm saying. Excited for SoFi earnings, you and me both. Let's hope that they knock it out of the park once again. SoFi here, so very nice breakout here, 12th, and we're still rallying. We're now at 1127, at the very top of yesterday's trading range, which is absolutely amazing. The resistance is basically below us, so we don't no longer care. So yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful there. Chase is asking, can you explain what the trend AI indicator is measuring? So this is measuring here. If you'd gotten in at every little green dot and exited at every red dot, so say you got in here, held it, exited here, that's what we measure. So it's basically if you followed our signals. I'm not suggesting that you follow our signals blindly, by the way. I think you need some good risk management. Otherwise, you know, you can lose your shirt. But yeah, that's basically what, and we compare that then versus just buying and holding it, and it tells you that if you go up here, it tells you, you know, the comparison period. Tesla, okay, we can have another look at that. We did just do that, but I am not opposed to looking at once more. We're also joined by my chief financial advisor, who has tremendous insight about markets, many years of experience of schnoozing under a desk where we talked about finance. What do you think about Tesla? Any thoughts? Let's have a look here. So the two highs we have here, I would sort of connect those. Two highs are not quite enough, right? You kind of need three highs to make a trend, but now the cat's drinking my water. Tallulah, what are you doing? So that's sort of a little bit the resistance here. And we're stopped just at short of that, and we come down a little bit. So despite the massive, wonderful rally that we've got, and let me show you that on an advanced chart. Oops, you can't see what I'm showing you. Sorry about that. Okay, so we do that again. This is here in Trade Vision. You've got top here. You got a top there, right? So just connect them. Continue that line further over. It'd be better if it was 3. But right now we're below the one from yesterday. So we might have formed the third top here, right? Which is not super helpful. The cats are looking at me going, we'd like to play now. So we'll wrap it up as the market opens. And what does that mean? Well, if you open this on an advanced chart, again, this is in Trade Vision, links down below. Get yourself a trial account to it. I actually have that same line in there. That's that blue line. So if we close below that sort of 260 from yesterday, we've just formed the third top, which isn't really brilliant. I mean, it's an amazing breakout, but just from a chart point of view, it might imply that we see a little bit of a pullback. We have to obviously wait and see what happens at the opening. I mean, long-term, fundamentally, I'm a big bull on Tesla, but just from a chart point of view, this was a beautiful breakout on massive volume, but we're pulling back a little bit here by about $4 from the highs of yesterday. So it just makes me think that we are creating more upwards resistance here right now. So I'm not loving it 100%. Kirill, appreciate you tuning in. Thanks very much. New looks quite interesting. I do like new. I'm got a video coming out today. It's one of the stocks covered in it. It's new. And yeah, it's been on a tremendous rally, right? Since the beginning of 2022. It's up 37%. Again, our trading indicator here, if you just traded the little green bits, you'd be up 55% rather than the buy and hold of 37%. So maybe there is just something in trading. Maybe there's a reason there are trading floors in every investment bank in the world. So what do you see when you look at that? Well, let's start sort of at the beginning here. We had bit of a breakout sort of here. That was nice, right? And then what do we actually see now? Well, just connect the highs. Just connect the highs. And you've got one high, two highs, three highs. So we got that real resistance at about $15. And I now have a cat's head sleeping on my left arm to indicate that I should probably stop this and give her some attention. So we're kind of in I would call this an exhaustion pattern. I wouldn't really call this like an, oh my God, this is amazing. And the other thing I would look at is as we're going up here, the volume is pretty flat. So this isn't really a rally with oomph. I know it's trading up a little here this morning. It might even be a gap up slightly, but at the moment I'm missing the oomph. Amazon, yeah, similar story really. Amazon, we just need to kind of wait for earnings. So hopefully they'll impress because we're just stuck below 200. I just don't really see this going anywhere right now. Looking up nicely here pre-market, but strong resistance at 190 from the market makers. They sell at 190 and at 200 Bezos sells. So, you know, is it the best place to put my money right now to maximize its returns? I would argue probably not. In the long term, I think it's an amazing company, and I think the stock price is going to do a lot. But in the short term, I don't really see it. You don't have children, Felix. You have a lot of time. Just cats and dogs, yes, and stuff. Plus, I'm a child, so I think that counts. But yeah, it's true. I'm in a very privileged place. I don't have a job. I have lots of time. I have people who do everything for me that I don't want to do. And assistants coming out of my ears and that sort of thing. But it's intentional. It's an intentional setup, right? Because I like my time. I like my freedom. Here's viewers. Some of the viewers are children too. Have a look in the comments section. People have tantrums pretty much every day in there. So there we are. Pre-market looks pretty sweet. Bloomberg says there is no news other than the orange one and the not so orange one, and how Trump should be compared to Hitler frequently. It's so weird. I've been getting their daily emails from Bloomberg like for years, right? And it's just market updates. This stock did that stock did that. Now all it is like, we hate Trump. It's really peculiar. It's kind of pathetic, I think. I think it's kind of pathetic. It certainly lowered Bloomberg's estimates in my market because I come here for the finance news, not your personal opinion. What trades are you thinking of doing today? Yeah, there's a couple of things. I've got a bit of a list here. One thing I was looking at, which could be interesting, is, oops, that's not it. Palladium. Look at that. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Palladium is having a bit of a breakout here. If they put sanctions on Russian palladium, which is where most palladium comes from, this could cha-cha-ching. So that's one I'm looking at. Coin did quite nicely yesterday too, didn't it? Almost. It's a breakout of sorts, but it's still below the 150. So I'm still waiting for crypto to really take off. There's also a lot of overhead resistance here, so I think it still needs a little bit of patience here. Aruna, okay, you've got time. Kids are already grown up. Can't say the same around here. Right. Any other questions, my friends? Anything you want me to look at? Anything you want to know? This is your chance to ask after you've smashed the like button. Do make sure you watch that masterclass because breakouts are so freaking predictable. They really, really are. If you know what to look for, say, this Coinbase breakout here, that looks pretty good. In February, if you'd known what to look for, you would have bought that and it would have gone up from 150, and you would have gotten out here at about 240, maybe 238. So we spot those all the time. We look for them actively, but we know what to look for. If you don't know what to look for, you miss them, and it's a shame because it's easy. It really is very, very easy to learn. So you have 30 minutes and a desire to just get better and a willingness to learn, then just watch that freaking masterclass, felixprehn.org/get free. And I think you'll learn a lot. Armando, you're very kind. Thank you very much for that. Palantir, we haven't looked at that. You're quite right, my friend. We haven't looked at Palantir. There is literally a kitten sleeping on my hand now going, don't move, stop typing. Interesting. Resistance has moved down to 45. It was at 50, wasn't it? Okay, interesting. So market makers are basically going to start selling at 45. We're trading at 43.75 right now at the very top of yesterday's high. Now, again, classic breakout pattern here, basically, from here, 25. Could have run the whole thing all the way up to where we are right now, if you just knew how to spot those breakouts. And this looks, I call it the exhaustion pattern. Not the end of the world. We had a bit of it here, and then we got some good news, and we did it again. And here again, and, oops, we might do it again. Who knows? But at the moment, it's an exhaustion sort of pattern. So we wait for the breakout, basically, to look for another opportunity. Why have the genomic stocks and the healthcare stocks been hammered? I think a lot of that is just that interest rates are not going down as quickly as initially hoped for. So if you look at the whole, this is one I'm watching, XBI, which is the whole biotech sector, basically, and it's just not done quite the rally that we'd like it to have done. It's actually in a consolidation pattern. It's in a exhaustion pattern here. So it's just sort of stuck between 95 and 100, which is also where the support and resistance sits. So we're still waiting for that to break out more meaningfully. If it doesn't, we'll get out of it and we'll do something else. Oh, Dawn, okay. Dawn, I appreciate you sending me a message the other day, and some of our coaches, one of our former market makers in particular, he has strong political opinions. And yeah, everybody does, right? I mean, look at the world. I'm not going to curtail him, Dawn. I think he can express his views. You are very welcome to say to him, look, I disagree with your views. Would you mind to zip it on that subject and focus on money? And I think he's a very nice guy. He'll probably take note. But I don't muzzle my team. Like, they can say whatever they like, but within reason, If they talk badly of Winston, obviously, then they're out. But, I just think we need to all be a little bit more tolerant about opposing views. And I know a lot of people say a lot of stupid stuff around politics at the moment. It's the silly season for politics, right? Wait till the 5th of November and it'll become a little bit less silly. So you only have a few more days to get through there, Dawn. Crocs, yeah, Crocs is one of those stocks, isn't it? Crocs is a stock I kind of wish I would have bought. I didn't. I just thought the product was so insanely hideous, but obviously I wasn't the target audience. And it's insanely profitable business with an incredible stock performance. I mean, just zoom out here. It's extraordinary. Right now, it's below the 50-day moving average line. Support's kind of holding-ish, sort of 135 here. You can get these support and resistance lines in Trade Vision. Yeah, I would wait. That's what I'd say. But who knows? He's not a commie, is he? No. He's a fervent Republican, it seems. I mean, that's quite frankly everybody in the finance industry is. Most people who make their money from money are a fan of less regulation and low taxes and getting the government out of things and that sort of thing. You would just find that. I mean, talk to 100 investment bankers and 99% of them will be Republicans. It's just the nature of the industry. You don't mind opposing views as long as they're well-founded. Well, we also, I think, have to have some tolerance for the fact that most views are not well-founded on anything, right? Other than something that we read. And I mean, if he was a communist, but a profitable one, a hedge fund manager who manages billions of dollars who's a secret communist, that'd be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? Fairly unlikely, but yeah. And some people like ugly shoes. I know what you mean. Very peculiar. So there we are. Watch the free masterclass as we're about to wrap up here. Tallulah says to me, Felix, put a cork in it. Let's go and play. Let's have to do something fun. So we're going to do that. Look how long she gets. You are absolutely amazing. So thank you for tuning in. I wish you all the best. I've got a video coming out on some of our stop picks for the rest of the year. So check that out in a little while. And I wish you a beautiful day. Watch that masterclass. I know most of you won't. Some of you will. Some of you will actually take action. Some of you will actually implement it. And it'll make me very, very happy. And I think it'll make you very happy. I think it'll make your families very happy. So there we are. All the best.